Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I have an ongoing identity crisis about who I really am.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
And that was a little too real for me, Remington. Imposter syndrome is a thing, right?
Oh, yes, I know her quite well.
And
we go way back.
And we're content creators on the internet, which automatically means we have it.
Yeah, it's true. But it also means that we are in far too privileged of a position to complain about it too intensely.
Exactly. So with that being said, Remington, last week was a pleasant surprise.
It was delightful. It was wholesome. I loved it.
So this week, Remington.
Ah, shit. All right, here we go. Rip off the Band-Aid. We don't need to play the bullshit games. We don't need to be like, oh, so here's the situation. Oh, that sounds pretty normal, possibly even good. But, oh, there it is. We don't need to do the old rigmarole.
Well, I mean, Remington, this is a show that is supposed to be entertaining and have a bit of structure to it. You know, you gotta kind of ease people in. I mean, sure, they know exactly what we're talking about because they read the title, but you gotta have kind of a flow to things. You gotta have a narrative. You gotta build these things up.
And the narrative of this episode is that I am removing the rigmarole, right? This is officially a no rigmarole zone, this episode, all right? If you were listening and you were expecting rigmarole, get the fuck out.
Rigmarole Zone is my favorite garage band.
There shall be no rigmarole. So, Sean, remove the rigmarole and show me where the bullshit is. Where this awful it's gonna be in its ideal state. Maybe it's dark, twisted, but still high quality. Maybe it's some sister fucking nonsense that will obliterate me on the inside. Maybe it's action-packed, but it's also just terrible. There are many options, but we can skip the nonsense this episode, Sean. We'll be back with the nonsense next episode. Next episode, we can have the rigmarole. This episode, no rigmarole.
Well, I mean, I had a whole thing planned. But sure, if you want to get
how much of your plan had rigmarole, Sean?
Well, I mean,
approximately what percentage of your plan was rigmarole?
It depends on your definition of rigmarole, I suppose.
It is, I believe, rigmarole to be a self-evident truth.
Like in Abraham Lincoln's speech, was it? No, wait, that was the Declaration of Independence. Fuck!
I was gonna let it slide and let the comments get you. It sounds already, Sean.
Yeah.
This Abraham Lincoln speech tangent is getting eerily close to rigmarole.
Okay, I'll drop the rigmarole. Fine, Jesus Christ.
Thank you. That's all I have.
So, Remington, the twist for today's anime is that the biggest problem with it is reality.
What the fuck does that mean?
You told me to drop the rigmarole, so I just had to jump straight into it.
I say drop the rigmarole, and you hit me with cryptic nonsense.
Well, it's only cryptic because the rigmarole provides the context. So now you get this. I could tell you the name of the anime, you'd be like, what the fuck? And you'd be like, there would be no explanation, so you'd be like, I don't know what to think about this. And I'd be like, yeah.
All right, well, let's get there. All right, so the problem is reality. What's the name of the anime?
The problem is reality, and the name of the anime is a simple one. It's called Hetalia Axis Powers.
Oh, okay, wait.
So approach it carefully, Rem, because you're the one who decided that, nah.
Woo!
The usual rigmarole ain't gonna cut it here.
So, So, it sounds a lot like we are doing a World War II anime, Sean.
We are.
And with it being anime and with it being the Axis, I mean, with all due respect, Japan did some fucked up shit.
I mean, so did everybody, but yeah.
No, but like,
Yeah,
I mean,
no. Trust me, I get it. But this is the problem, Remington, with jumping straight into a show like this, because it's not as bad as it sounds with the title alone.
I asked for no rigmarole, and you're like, hey, 80-year-old war crimes. And I'm like, oh, fuck, wasn't prepared.
Yeah, what? You wonder why you weren't prepared?
I didn't have the rigmarole buffer.
Like, my notes, which I have in paper right here. Just tearing it up. Yep, nope. Fuck them. Done.
Oh, God.
So.
All right, well, here we are.
Okay, would you like a little bit more explanation?
That's probably good.
Yeah, probably a good idea. Okay, so first, this anime came out in 2009 originally.
Okay.
And it's not as bad as you'd think.
Yeah, because right now it seems real bad.
Yeah, no. It's a dip back into a genre that we haven't touched upon in a long-ass time. And that is the personification genre. Because what this anime is it is a personification of the countries of the world right around World War II. And its tags specifically are a historical comedy parody.
Oh, no.
So
I don't want to see how... I don't want to see what Japan is doing to China in this anime. What the fuck? How did they even... Hey guys, ha ha ha, Holocaust, oh, so funny.
Oh, don't worry.
What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing here?
I mean, I had something prepared, but Mr. Chaos over here decided that this was the best way to approach it, so here we are. So long story short, Remington, to save you a bit of some stress, it's a short form anime.
Hey, wow, 2 in a row.
Yep, there's a reason I did 2 in a row. I did one that was a sleeper hit that not a lot of people have talked about, and then I did this one because this is probably the most popular short form anime I can think of.
What the fuck?
And when I say the problem with this anime is reality, I'm not just talking about like the meta historical connotations. I'm also talking about the fan base, Remington.
Oh no.
Because, Remington, I don't know what you know about anime convention con culture. Or just convention culture in general. I mean, it's like a whole temporary country with its own philosophies and ideals that are like nuanced and interesting to explore. But you can very often categorize groups of people by these shows and things that they cosplay. And when we were growing up, Hetalia was at its peak. So there were loads and loads of Hetalia cosplayers, and they had a bit of a reputation of being those anime fans. A lot of them grew up to be very nice and lovely people. I'm still friends with some of my old friends who used to be Hetalia cosplayers. Because on the surface, it's just a bunch of countries being given a human shape, and there are some gags and comedy thrown in. And that's fun and easy to replicate. So you had a bunch of people dressing up as Italy, as Germany, as England, China, like all these decently designed characters. And had a lot of people having a good time. But the problem is it was a constant flux of references and inside jokes to the show that at the time did not seem as bad. It's only when you try to explain this show to people that it gets very concerning, as you are learning right here and right now, which is why I was gonna take a nice...
Yeah.
I was gonna take a nice, slow, level-headed approach to it, but nah. For the sake of the goof, we had to jump straight in. And I will say, I have been asked to cosplay from this show, and almost did, but decided against it. Because even young me...
What country? What country?
They wanted me to be America.
What in the hell? What? No.
I mean, when you see America's design, you'll kind of get it, but no, I get exactly what you mean.
I'm literally just imagining Hulk Hogan. With all of it. Everything about Hulk Hogan, including all the problematic shit. That's what I'm imagining to see in this anime.
Yeah, it's definitely got a bit of that energy, and to make things more interesting, Rem, it's got 5 seasons with a 6th on the way.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, hey, personifying things is a great way to like have a webcomic, because this is originally a webcomic, a web manga specifically, and it did very popular, and it's apparently getting a new season on the way, which I found out while researching this episode, and I don't know how to feel about it. So really, Remington, it's going to be your job to go into this anime and try to see why people like it, and whether or not it's as fucked up as it sounds on the surface.
Oh, and you know, Sean, we can pretend like technically we're this is like the first time we're qualified for something, Sean.
Yes.
Because like you're a weeb, and one of my majors was history.
Yep.
So we can pretend like we know what's up, even though we're us and we do not.
Yeah, no, like, I confused one of Lincoln's speeches with the Declaration of Independence. Look, I consider myself a history buff, but sometimes I make stupid mistakes. That's why we have a comedy podcast
to me.
and not like an
You
authentic
leave the
one.
history to me, I'll leave the anime to you, and then we'll still fuck it up way more than we should.
Exactly. So with that being said, Remington, let's jump right into it. Let's go watch some Hetalia Axis powers.
Previously,
Next episode, we can have the rigmarole. This episode, no rigmarole.
It's called Hetalia Axis powers.
Hey guys! Ha ha ha! Holocaust! Oh, so funny!
Oh, don't worry.
What are we doing?
Don't-
What the fuck are we doing here?
up next.
Am I gonna make this claim? I'm gonna make this claim. It's cute and charming, and it's simple.
Now, back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after consuming approximately 12 whole episodes of Hetalia Axis powers. And Remington, I'm dying to hear what you think of this show. Is it as bad as it sounds like on the outset? Is it worse? Is it better? Or did, like, 2009 era, my friends and myself and all anime fans in general need to reevaluate themselves on a deep emotional level?
All right. Okay.
Well, that's a great start. Can't wait to see where this is going. This is about to be a very, a real highfalutin, high-octane, high-energy comedy special. Let's see where this goes, Rem.
I would like to begin with a very brief message to all fans of Hetalia, because Hetalia, from every indication, it seems to me there's not just fans of Hetalia, there's stans for Hetalia. There are people, if my assumption is correct, who adore this show and quite possibly made this show their identity at some point in their life.
You have no idea, Rem. People were crazy, Rem. Anime conventions were very rough in, like, the 2009 to 2012 era. It was rough.
Awesome. All right, so to anybody who thinks that they might be in that category, you are not interested in the rest of this episode. You can just leave us the review and stop listening now, and just save yourself the time.
So wait, you're not gonna say that this is a subversive piece of comedic media?
Oh, it is. Yes, I can use a lot of words to describe this show. Subversive, subtle, clever. None of those are it.
Comedy? Does comedy slip in there somehow?
I'll tell you what. I think that there were 2, maybe even 3 moments in these 12 episodes that I found humor in.
We watched
So
12.
yeah,
We watched. I mean, granted, they're only 5 minutes apiece, but we did.
I would say one in every 5 episodes, you'll find something humorous, and if you're lucky, that humorous thing will make you laugh. But yeah, so to all of the Hetalia fans, you probably don't want to watch this one. If you just like happen to like the show, but like you haven't ever been crazily obsessive over it, then maybe listen. But yeah, I'm assuming that you know whether or not you're in that category, and thus whether or not you want to keep listening.
Well, I will say, Rem, this is our most requested short form anime.
Oh, fuck.
just by nature of the interesting effect that this show had on the.
Here's the thing I want to bring up, Sean. So, I love history, and I love, like, explaining history to people.
Same.
Like, it's a lot of fun.
Same.
And when I do it, like, the way that I explain history, because I find people learn this a lot better, especially on a more introductory level, is by personifying the events that are going on, right? And I'll make characters out of it, and people are very receptive, and it's educational. It works out great. People find it very entertaining. It's great. Yeah. So a show like this, it's like, well, that's like what it's doing, right? No. So let's view this on two fronts, Sean. Right? We're gonna view this as what it isn't, and then what it is.
Okay. All right.
What it isn't
properly scientific. It's been a while since we've done that.
What Hetalia is not is an anime that cares much about history. It will
Really? Well, I never would have. What an interesting claim you're making.
It might try to make you feel a little smart by referencing things that everyone learned in history class, and so you can be like, oh, I recognize that. And that's like the extent of it. The relationships. Let me put it this way. The only relevance, the only historical events that are relevant within this anime are whatever they decide to bring up in that given episode, right? They don't really care about the broader brush things, or it's not the case where, all right, let's develop all these relationships based on this great knowledge of history, right? And relationships and political affairs. No, it was like, hey, this event happened, so I guess these characters are gonna have a relationship like this then. And it's like, oh, okay, it's hyper simplified, but I understand. There's gonna be a lot of Hetalia fans. They're gonna say that's not what it's for, Remington. They use some historical events as jumping off points for funny moments. It's the humorous moments and the characters and the relationship. That's what matters, Remington. I hear them crying. Yes, I am going to acknowledge that, and we'll address that. I just felt like it's worth stating from the offset that if you know a little, it's fine, but don't go into the show knowing too much, or you'll get really frustrated, or maybe just view it uncritically, which, as we all know, I'm unable to do. But like, it's not a show you're gonna.
It's quite the disease you suffer from.
Yeah, this isn't a show you're gonna want to.
For enjoying things, you have to be that guy.
Yeah, you won't want to watch this show from a critical eye, historically speaking. It's got some neat stuff, but most of it, but that's not what it's for. Now let's talk about what it is trying to be. A silly, fun, lighthearted comedy. Whoo boy. I think it does comedy. Am I gonna make this claim? I think I'm gonna make this claim. Okay. I think Hetalia does comedy worse than it does history. Like, don't get me wrong. Oh, it's real charming to hear Italy talk about pasta a couple times. Oh, look at him, he's so obsessed. But like by the 10th time, it's like, oh, do you guys get it though? Because the Italian pasta, and 95% of the jokes, I'm going to say, there's no joke. It's just references. It's just, hey, do you guys know that like there's a stereotype about this nation? Are you laughing? Like, that's genuinely 95% of it is just, do you get it? Because like this country has stereotypical qualities about it, and we mentioned it. Oh, okay.
Is it comedy or is it racism? It's hard to tell.
See, and I wouldn't even go so far as, like, okay, so I had to watch the dub because it's too fast-paced for me to try and keep up with all the subtitles, right?
Yeah, no, it's advanced level stuff trying to keep up with Hetalia subbed. I will give you that.
They're all talking over each other. There's multiple lines of dialogue that, like, I wasn't interested. But in watching it, I'm not going to go so far as to be like, oh, all the accents are racist. Like, no, the accents aren't tremendous, but they're funny. They're supposed to be dumb and silly. Okay. That's fine. Even the stereotypes, I'm not going to say that, like, the stereotypes are, like, racist or ethnicist or anything like that, because, like, the whole point is that they are the embodiment of the nation and thus represented by the stereotypes. That's fine. I think there is an element that is very problematic, and that is, I'm just going to say, like, the whitewashing of all of World War II, despite it, like, being about World War II, and there being some shit, it's just very, very nice and whitewashed. It's like, oh, yes, Japan, just a quiet, noble, awkward young gentleman. Oh, Italy, how silly you are. Oh, and Germany, so firm and angry. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, I'm glad that World War II can be summarized as such. And it just, which, don't get me wrong, I don't think the show, necessarily should have broached those topics, especially not, like, blatantly, but to just sort of ignore all of them is a little weird. Like, I'm like, you didn't have to make it about World War II. You didn't need to make that decision. That was a creative choice you made. It was a problem of your own creation. And why? Because I'll tell you right now, the show isn't even about World War II. It sort of is. It's like, I guess, in the loosest sense.
I mean, sometimes it's in World War II, and sometimes it's not.
Sometimes there's 2 episodes that are just beach episodes. Why? Oh, I don't fucking know, dude. I got no fucking clue. It's weird. It's real weird. So while I think the show is problematic, it's not in the obvious ways, or at least not in, like, the more obvious ways. I've heard, like, when I searched it up, to watch it, like, I didn't do research about the show, God forbid. But when I searched it up, apparently, like, one of the first things that popped up is apparently they had a really racist depiction of Korea or something that was real fucked up. I haven't seen Korea, so I don't know. But apparently their depiction of Korea is real bad. But yeah, so I don't think the comedy of the show works because there's not really much comedy. Like, I suppose, okay, let me correct my statement. I said 95% is just references. I'm including in references funny accents, because that's a large part of their comedy as well. Just like, haha, look at them being funny. And it's like, the characters are fun and interesting, but I don't care, and there's not good comedy, and instead of making jokes about the stereotypes, or having the stereotypes engage in interesting ways, almost always, it's just acknowledging their existence. Like, it really is the epitome of, hey, what's the deal with this country? What's the deal with England? They got pretty bland food. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Now, that being said, there were some decent parts. For example, what I'm going to possibly describe as the only decent part. They have the little chibi bits sometimes, right? Every episode it'll have a little chibi bit. And for the first, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 episodes, I can't recall, those chibi bits are real fun. It's all about, like, sort of Italy's origin story, right? And it's real charming. And the narrator in those bits, she's great. She's sassy and deadpan at all the right moments. Almost all the times I laughed, all 2 of them. I think they were both lines from the chibi narrator. She's great. The chibi stuff, it's cute and charming, and it's simple. They get into it gets a lot worse when it becomes all about the romance between Italy and the Holy Roman Empire. I don't give a damn about that. When the chibi starts trying to, like, make a plot happen, I lost any care. But before that, it was real fun. I enjoyed those moments.
I got some bad news for you about the rest of the GB stuff going on.
It seems like it's just all gonna be that.
Yeah.
Oh man, but like 5 or 6 episodes of chibi stuff, that was fun. That was good. Which is each that's like 5 minutes total in the first handful of episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that, this is, if anything, it seems more like even earlier 2000s humor than 2009. But I suppose 2009 is about the right time for this type of humor. And
it was kind of the tail end of this era of humor. going out.
Yeah.
Like, it was very much a mid 2004 to 2008 type of thing, and 2009 is when it really started to like peak and peter off.
I'm gonna make a weird comparison. The closest thing to this humor that we have done thus far is ghost stories, which I maintain I wouldn't be able to watch too much more ghost stories because that gets repetitive. But I'm also gonna make the claim that ghost stories did it better because while they had a lot of stuff that just wasn't jokes or was just terrible, they had some genuinely funny moments and genuinely funny jokes. They had much more substance than Hetalia has thus far.
Well, to be fair, you gave a bunch of voice actors free reign to improvise half the time, so of course they're gonna have a better chance than badly written stuff.
So yeah, I think I thought Hetalia, but besides some iffy bits about the premise, just with it being about around World War II and everything, I thought, this is probably down my alley still. It really speaks to me. This is my style of show. But no, it's just disappointing. Maybe like if you are an 11 or 12-year-old who enjoys history class.
Oh God, Rem, that.
Then I think this would be a fun show for you.
Oh, I feel like that's cutting deep, Rem. That's a dangerous thing to say to people. Cause, oh.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, are we getting too serious here? Let me tell a joke. Pasta! All right, there we go. Now we're comedy now, Sean. It's okay. We have a joke. Oh, wait, no, wait. I'm sorry. Do we need another one?
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, man. China is sort of strict, right? All right, cool. All right, we're good. Now that we've filled it in with grade A fucking comedy, now I can continue.
And you simultaneously banned our podcast in China at the same time. That's impressive, man. I don't know if we were banned before or not, but we're definitely banned now.
Oh, God. Yeah, so really, the only saving grace is the first handful of chibi bits, and really, I think Italy is fun if they were to do anything with them. Like, the English voice actor, they go all in. They're real silly and over the top, and I like that. It doesn't get utilized. It's just like, that's all it is. It's like, wow, these are good foundations. So where are you taking it? It's like, what? I'm like, well, like the foundations, but then you have to do something with them, and they're like, oh no, that's what we're doing with them. That's all. We're not building on it. It's just all it is. Also, there's one really frustrating thing. This is very specific. All right. So sometimes they would do like, hey, here's what you can see in next time's episode, right? And just sort of towards the end. And then sometimes they would have this be a post-credit sequence, but sometimes they would have a post-credit sequence that isn't a part of the next episode. Rather, it's a continuation of the episode you just watched. It's really inconsistent, but that's not the thing I'm frustrated about. In episode 10, little post-credit sequence, you have France propose to England, and it's like, ooh, what's all that about? See you next time. And then episode 11 does not have any of that proposal. Instead, their post-credit sequence of episode 11 is the same thing.
Yeah.
So both episode 10 and 11 are like, hey, wait till you see the next episode. And like episode 12, it finally gets there, but what the fuck? Like, and it's a nitpicky thing, but it just goes to show, like, I feel like the show is very poorly organized. It's sort of a vignette style show, so you'll get a scene, right, and then you'll transition into something likely unrelated or only tangentially related, and that's totally fine. But then sometimes you'd expect, like, each vignette to either tell a joke or at least set up a joke, but then some vignettes, I have no fucking clue what the point of them is. Like, it would just be something happened, and I expected to keep going, but then, like, the episode was over. And I'm like, what? What's the point? Where's the joke?
I mean, maybe it's like that high-fidelity anti-humor that you're a big fan of, Rem. Maybe the joke is that there's no joke, and therefore it's funny.
I assure you it is not. I can guarantee you it is not. It was just a weird show that I had higher hopes for. And like episode 1, I was okay with episode 1. I thought I might like it. I didn't love episode 1, but I was like, okay, if it gets better from here, then it'll be okay. And it didn't. And I don't know. I don't know where to find the funny in this show.
Well, maybe it's in the other 40 episodes of the first season.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
I mean, Brem, you've already made it, a fifth of the way there. Might as well.
No, God, no. It was...
I don't blame you, Rem. I couldn't even get past episode 25 when I was researching this show. I was like, I could probably finish it. 50 episodes, 5 minutes an episode, that's not too bad. I just had violent flashbacks to that time in my life, and thankfully I was not as sucked in as some of my other weeby cohorts. But oh no, this did not hold up at all, nor did I think it was good to begin with.
Yeah,
Poland Ball would have been a better anime.
Poland Ball is better. There's also, what is it? It's like, one sec, I'm Googling. Yeah, Scandinavia and the World is another one, right?
Yep. Because the thing is, all three of these have
don't get me wrong,
the same
like,
source in common. They were all webcomics.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell me that. The moment I started watching, it was very obvious this came from a webcomic. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it works out, maybe Hetalia works as a webcomic, right? Maybe as a webcomic, it's better, and it's just trying to adapt it into an anime when it stops working. And I suspect that might be the case. Like, I suspect that maybe Scandinavia and the World or Poland Ball aren't categorically better than Hetalia. It's just they've stuck to their medium and thus have different expectations. I don't know if that's the case. I would need to sort of compare and contrast some more, but I'd be willing to consider that, right? That maybe the Hetalia webcomic, like maybe if I were to be introduced to the webcomic first, and then maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, this is pleasant and enjoyable. But of course we are just reviewing the anime as it exists of its own merits. And
plus, I haven't read the webcomic, so I can't say anything. Didn't bother.
God.
Couldn't be arsed.
But yeah, so the anime itself, maybe the webcomic's good. I don't know. Tell us, is the webcomic better than the anime? Because the anime, but then I suspect even for like the fans of the webcomic, right? Mm-hmm. They start watching the anime, but they still get the exact same enjoyment that the anime gives, I suppose, in, oh yeah, that's a reference either to a national stereotype, a historical event, or now to the webcomic. But it's still not like the joke. There's still no jokes, just more references. I don't get it. I'm missing. There's a gap, Sean, between me and understanding this fucking show's comedy. And
it's okay, Rem. I don't understand it all that much either. I told you in the first half that like a lot of my friends were really into it, and I almost got drug into a cosplay group for it. But even back then, even young, innocent Sean, who was willing to like just about anything, even things like Sword Art Online, realized, hey, wait a minute, I don't know if this is good. And I kind of dipped out of that pretty quickly, and I would say so, because, my Christ, the closest thing to a modern comparison I can think of in convention culture comes to mind is probably Homestuck fans. And that's a heavy comparison that I'm making on folks. And hey, no shade if you like Homestuck.
All right. So what you're indicating is that all of our bad reviews are going to switch from all being about Attack on Titan to now half Attack on Titan, half Hetalia is what you're telling me.
With a little bit of Homestuck for flavor.
People will be listening. It's like there's someone out there who's like, hey now, I was hating on Hetalia too, but the moment you even bring up the absolute insanity that is the Homestuck fandom, now you've attacked me personally.
Because I will say, the one thing I have noticed is I've seen people grow out of the Hetalia fan base. Not sure I've seen much of that for Homestuck. Just saying.
Let all the anger be directed towards Sean on that one. My knowledge of Homestuck comes exclusively through the Sarah Zed video on the topic.
Oh, that's such a good video.
It's a good video. Especially then what the follow. It's nice chaos. Hey, check it out. That's good content.
That's very good content. Watch that.
Watch that content instead of leaving us bad reviews.
Yep. That's the ideal. Well, do you have anything more to add, Rem?
No, there's really not anything left to say. I thought there'd be more to this show. And once again, it's like, I'm not looking for a masterpiece. Just, I was singing praises last week of another very simple short form anime. And it just, this one, I'm not a huge fan. And it's one that I struggle to see the appeal of beyond a very surface level.
Like I said before, there was a whole new season recently released. Recently, like this year released, like back into February, I think. And that blew my fucking gourd because I did not know until I was researching this.
Maybe it's better. I don't know. It's possible.
But would you care to take a guess at the MAL score for the original Hetalia Axis Powers, which is still a very concerning title?
Okay, it's very easy for... Wait, no, okay, so short form, because it's easier to watch more of, and then the sort of malcalibration, right?
Right.
On average, slightly lowers it, but with how crazy the fans are, it's got to be like an 8.2. Even with the lowering, I'm going to guess 8.2.
Well, you're about to have some faith restored in weebdom. Because, surprisingly, it only has 106,000 ratings on it, which is very low for an anime this old and this storied. It's a cult hit, if you will.
Yeah.
It is sitting nice and pretty at a 7.34.
Oh, weebs. Like, following the weep calibration, like, the weeps and I are sort of on the same page.
Yeah.
Like because obviously I would not rank it 7.3.
Neither would I.
But once you do like the calibrations for like where the weebs are at, that's pretty close to where I'd have, because like a 7.3 calibrated back into Remington, that's still probably a bit high. That's probably like, I don't know, like a 5 for Remington. And I'd probably rank the show a 3.5 to a 4. But you know, it's closer. It's closer than I would have expected. Oh, weebs.
Yeah,
Thank you, weebs.
A lot of the reviews are having it sit at a 5. There's a bunch of people with 9s and 10s, as you might expect. And then there's a bunch of them with 1s as well, which...
I disagree with the 1s.
Yeah, guys with the 1s review, calm down. Calm down. It's not... Like, for example, the first line of this one review is...
if you raise it to a 3, I get it.
Yeah. Like, this gets me. This has to be the absolute worst anime I've ever seen, is the first line of this review. And I'm like, dude, you have not seen much anime. You have not seen much anime, if that's what you think.
It's far from the worst, but it is equally far from being great. And so...
Well, with that in mind, Rem, then I guess my final question for you, is there any chance you'd want to watch some more Hetalia with me? Because there's at least another 150 episodes for you.
I might be willing to watch a curated highlight reel of the absolute best/funniest bits. And I don't think that in of itself would be tremendous, but I think that could be enjoyable.
It's mostly Italy saying pasta.
Oh, fuck.
And with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed us delving into the madness of trying to create an anime podcast about a show that defined an entire generation of people, then please head on over to Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a review. It means the world to us. We read every single one, and it helps us a ton. But if you'd like to support us even more directly, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where me and Remington regularly do a little bit of gameplay content and chatting content. But if that alone is not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have your name read aloud on the podcast. And Remington, who are we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we reach the Yandere waifu tier, who are force-feeding us pasta until we explode. And on that list, we have Walk Me Home Gently, VTubers Ruined My YouTube Algorithm, Relatable, Turtle Nation, Tsundere Dragon, Trenton Towers, Totally God, The World Shall Know Propane, Sorry Mother, Silent Secondary, Sean Arrogay is on end season hiatus. Please send me your submissions at dforest-ky hashtag 4035 on Discord, Scoopy Loopy Boopy Doopy Hoopy Goopy Yoopy, Sarah Birch, Sammy Pritchard, Salty Pretzel, Sequoia Faye, Remington, connoisseur of anime titties, Remington's imaginary friend, Remington Merrill, Remington's right, Sean is wrong, I'm stuck watching anime again next week, huh? Rem, you failed the name pronunciation test. Rem wants Sean to use his climax card on him in Weiss Schwarz. I don't like the sound of that.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, God.
I don't want to know what that
Redneck
means.
Weeb, ready to be isekai'd. No, I can't possibly say this name on the podcast. I'd rather watch every episode of Beastars than read this name. Navi, Mike the Mutilator. Matthew, my brother unironically likes SAO Drum. Matt, I swear that's not my Joey Wheeler Documakra G. Mockchop92. Luke Offenberger. Lonely Geek 23. Kyrie. Juan Horitos. Jax, Ichigo Simp 015. I went to a whore. She said my life's a bore, so quit my whining because it's bringing her down. I believe in Taiga Isuka's supremacy. Hey guys, Remington here. Do you ever get collector's anxiety in huge open world RPGs? Hey Randall, Hanakawa, Glenn Michael Dolan, Ghostly Bishi, I need more Joey Wheeler in my life. Gate Duck. Oh God, I think it's either like Indonesian or Filipino. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is gonna be bad. Whoever you are, I love you and I'm sorry. Here we go. Far iki far lam.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I'm so sorry.
Find our
Fuck of
ignorance
love.
charming.
Fuck of love, Foxen Boy. Fruit is the best shoujo girl. Farmer Weeb wants a Joey Wheeler. Hey, you humans can make cows pregnant. Oh, El Deuterino.
I shouldn't have drank during that.
Dark with Light, Darkstorm 713, Danny Morabito, Shy 900, Christian Moss, Christian Crawford, Cheese Monkey, Buxtable Unhinged, hell yeah, Broke Bitch, Bob, Blake Dubin, Baron Von Muffinbeard the Third, Baby Bun, Ariel Bird, Apostle of the Church of Remington, Anime Duck, Anime On to Shonen Trash and Needs More JJK, Andrew Rowicki, Elise Howard, Alpha Weeb, Alexa Hickman, Adam McLaughlin. Thank absolutely every single one of you. All of you are absolutely fantastic. But now, we move on. We go over to Hogwarts. We get a little bit magical with the Boy Wizard tier, where, you know what, we did a bunch of nations. So now, everybody is getting their own nation from the wizarding world. So, Wolf, you get America, but magical.
Okay, sure, cool. If we're going that basic, why not?
Watashi wa ochinchin tabet imasu. You're getting the UK, but magical.
That's just the UK, I think. I'm pretty sure that's
Pilkster, the Symphogear advocate, you are going to get Ecuador, but magical. MT the poet, you are going to get Cuba, but magical. Miguel Deleon, you are going to get Mongolia, but magical. Kirigiri is best girl and Remington needs to know this. You are going to get Russia, but magical. I'm so sorry. Kazu Morocco, you are going to get Chad, but magical.
I mean, I appreciate the African representation and all, but this barrel is gone. The barrel is in negative space.
I'll be honest, this barrel might be gone. We might be doing, like, I don't know, a patron poll to figure out some new tiers. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Justin Kessinger, you get France, but magical. I live in Ogden, yes, that one. You are going to get Canada, but magical. I call Bone Drew Daddy. Congratulations. Hope you're the most weeb of them all because you get Japan, but magical. Hinata is a ball of sunshine. You are going to get, Portugal, but magical. Enrique Perez Torres, you are going to get, Norway, but magical. DJ Hires, you are going to get Chile, but magical. Dedicated Sadist, you, of course, are going to get none other than, Denmark, but magical. Declan Zahariah, you are going to get, oh man, you really want to get, band, you're going to get Taiwan, but magical.
Oh, yeah, no, that confirms it. We're out.
We are no longer listed on any Chinese sites. Darth Pikachu, you are going to get Madagascar, but magical. And thank absolutely every single one of you. You all are fantastic. And now we reach towards the Chef and a Musco tier, getting to the White House, where everybody is getting their own pasta pun.
Oh no. Thank God there's only a handful.
All right. Okay, Zachary Shirley has opened all 8 inner gates and 7 heavenly breaths unless there's a revisit to High Q. Well, surely you're feeling a little saucy today.
Okay, first of all, that wasn't a pasta pun. That was a sauce pun, you ditch.
What'd you put on the pasta?
Not always. Some pastas don't have a sauce, my man.
Well, whatever one is relevant, it does. Shut the fuck up. Silicon Spectre, you are tortellini awesome. Like, totally, but tortellini.
Oh, God, this is why you don't make puns on the regular. You're just not that great at it. I thought you just did it like you made fun of me and were like very angry at me whenever I made a pun because like you were just upset at the cleverness. But no, you're just upset because yours are that bad.
I found a list and I'm using the list because mine would be even worse. All right, then we have Hetalia as my anime waifu. What's your favorite show? Sex and the ZD?
Oh, Ram.
And finally, last but not least, we have my mom.
Be careful.
And my mom is going to get the best of all pasta puns. I'm genuinely choosing randomly to see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's get historical. Sean, you remember Abraham Lincoln giving that famous speech after the Battle of Spaghettisburg?
Oh.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
I'm sorry, Remington's mom.
But nonetheless, thank you guys so much. If you would like to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love you very much, and as always, don't fuck your sister.
But Italian.
Is it comedy or is it racism? It's hard to tell. I just don't think I could do Dylan. I mean, he's just got so much charm and class. I have clinical depression. Anyway.
Relatable.
So let's get going in 3, 2, 1, mark. Hello and welcome to
Was that
Anime.
a fucking phone buzz, you fuck? It's the moment you say mark and I hear a phone buzz.
That's why I extended it an extra couple seconds when it
You
happened.
son of a bitch.
I made the mistake of checking a note, and apparently it was the perfect time for an email to come in about what I wonder. Let's see before we get into it. What was so important? A very poorly structured horse pussy. What a surprise.
Don't insult them like that.
Well, this isn't going in the show.
Oh my god.
Like, Remington, like, you don't understand. It's not pretty. But, you know, like I said. All right, now let's actually get started, since you interrupted me.
I interrupted this motherfucker. His phone goes off while recording, and I get blamed for blaming him.
It's why I waited a couple extra seconds before starting, and then you had to come in.
Yeah, because if you don't move it, then he's gonna buzz again, and we're all gonna hear it during the actual episode.
Well, I've moved it now.
Okay.
And it's not an issue. It was just a momentary lapse of reason, which is also a great Pink Floyd album. Anyway, let's get started in 3, 2, 1, mark.